One of my favorite things, like from voiceover folks, like Hank Azaria, all the voices he does, it's so great.
Bro, I think it was a new Christmas Simpsons special. Flanders' voice sounds crazy. Like Harry Shearer is just like really old and like can't really do the voice anymore.
Oh, really?
It's kind of weird.
I mean, Lisa hung it up.
Yeah.
Well, think about that, dude. If they were 35 years old when they started the show, they're 70 years old now.
Yeah, exactly. It's insane.
Like, think about that. That's bonkers.
I think he is. I think Chauncey is really green-lighting him and pushing him and nudging him, and I think he understands the assignment. The beauty of his dunks is that he's a situational dunker. He doesn't dunk for entertainment. I mean, he dunks with power and authority, whether it's on the break, off a lob, or off an offensive rebound. It always is the right play at the right time, and he makes it indefensible, if that's the right word to say in that situation.
You said it, it's the right word. Back-to-back night, that game on Monday night. Where are we headed right now? Oh, we are headed. Oh, you're going to Dallas. Blazers are headed there. They fall by 20 tonight at San Antonio. Hey, Justin Timberlake brings the Forget Tomorrow World Tour to Moda Center on January 13th. Get ready for an unforgettable night filled with all your favorite hits. Head to rosequarter.com to secure your tickets.
It's the Get Holiday Ready sales event with the Ford crew.
What happened?
Someone took the Bronco out for an extended test drive.
They used all the goat modes. Goes over any type of terrain.
They did it all, man.
Looks like they had a lot of fun.
Those boots are awfully muddy, Sam.
My boots? I did it. I'm gonna do it again.
Lease a new Bronco Sport Big Ben for only $399 a month, or a Bronco Big Ben for just $499 a month for 36 months.
Taste is not an option. Taste is everything. 1800, the world's most awarded tequila.
Kid, your mother and I noticed you've been going through some changes.
When two people love each other.
We want to talk protection.
Mom, Dad, we've been married for years.
Oh, yeah. Honey, we just want to talk to you about insurance.
Ralph, Barb, no, you don't have to worry. No, with Heffernan, we're totally protected.
Great. So when are we having grandbabies?
Oh, yes. Heffernan Insurance Brokers. We keep you protected.
You know you want a burger, so make it my Smash Jack. Rated the best burger in fast food. It's even got more beef than a Big Mac. Chin up, Ronald. Maybe you'll get a participation trophy. My Smash Jack, now on sourdough. Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Amy M. writes, my kids are having a Wicked-themed sleepover. Will my internet hold up?
Well, our Xfinity gateways are like magic, designed to easily power a ton of teenagers and their devices.
They're so magic. I'm like the good witch of engineering.
I'm the Wicked Witch of beta testing.
And I'm the wizard of spreadsheets.
Oh.
I knew he'd excel at that job.
Get Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month when you add mobile, or lock in your internet price for 2 years. And see Wicked in theaters now.
There's something wrong with you. Bellevue, that's it. I mean, sometimes you just ain't all there. Now. Take a look at yourself. There's something wrong with you.
Michelob Ultra, superior light beer.
For every three-pointer the Blazers make this season, Daimler Trucks and Friends of Trees will plant 3 trees. Let's take a look at tonight's Threes for Trees summary brought to you by Daimler Trucks. The Blazers, 12 threes, that's 36 trees, and that's 975 on the season, and that's your Threes for Trees, please. Summary presented by Daimler Trucks. Blazers' next 5 games: at Dallas, home for Utah, home against those same Mavericks, home against the struggling 76ers, and then we ring in the new year down to the crypto.com. The Crypt, that's what they call that, taking on LeBron James and the Lakers. Let's talk about the Mavericks first. No Luka Doncic tonight. He's got a left heel contusion, so we're unsure whether he's going to play on Monday. Quentin Grimes leads the Mavericks in scoring as they beat the Clippers this evening. I mean, Dallas, that's 2 different teams if Doncic isn't there.
Yeah, and they definitely play different. They play faster when Doncic doesn't play, and they move the ball side to side. So Dallas is a team that the Blazers are going to have to prepare to guard the entire floor in terms of half court. But to me, Neil, what the Blazers want to do in response to tonight's performance going to Dallas is be more physical with their offense, set more screens, attack the offensive board, get to the free throw line, all things that require physicality.
Let's get physical and let's get vertical, huh? And let's shut down the Fred Meyer postgame show and the Papa Shot machine. We are out of tokens. 5th quarter awaits. I don't know, maybe the Kingston. Shout out to the producer, Kyle Ratoza, our director, Steve Heilman, Buck on cameras 1, 2, 3, Nika in the car, Dina Blumenthal on graphics. For Michael Holton, I'm Neil Everett. Blazers lose at San Antonio, fall to 9-19. Join us Monday, Portland at Dallas. Pregame at 5. Tip-off at 5:30. Until then, remember, the dream is real, the dream is alive. Yes, the long, lonesome road is out there. Everything is hard until it becomes easy.
This has been a Blazers Broadcasting Sports presentation.
Fans, rock some Rip City pride on your ride with an official Trailblazers Oregon license plate. Not only do they look awesome, they help local nonprofits fund important youth initiatives all over our great state through the Trailblazers Foundation. These plates are a great way to let them know wherever you go, you're rolling with Rip City. For details on how to order your Trailblazers Oregon license plate, head over to OregonDMV.com today.
At Umpqua Bank, a business loan is about more than the loan. It's about how that loan helps a business expand, and how that expansion inspires more new businesses to open, and how those new businesses can create someone's dream job. and how that dream job can open the door to a 1927 Craftsman with a backyard and a nursery for a baby boy named Cooper. Umpqua Bank, when businesses grow, everyone thrives.
Tonight's quote comes from favorite great football movie, The Waterboy. Hey, we suck again. Oh, I'm kidding. We don't really suck, but it was a really great performance. We'll talk about it after this. Cue the intro.
It's the Rip City Wrap-Up, brought to you by Dick Hanna Subaru. Believe in nice. Here are your hosts, Tyree Smith, Danny Marang, and Joe Simons.
Well, we don't suck, but that performance surely did suck compared to last game, my friends. Welcome into Studio City on the Rip City TV Network, episode 27. I'm Marang, Joe Simons with you on this Saturday evening following the Blazers' 114-94 loss on the road to the San Antonio Spurs. Wemby.
Yeah, I don't think you start talking Blazers.
No.
Victor Wembanyama, for those that don't know, had one of the most impactful kind of nights that you'll see in NBA history tonight.
Sure.
He had
10 blocks.
12th game all time with 30 points and 10 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
He is the 6th player ever to have that stat line, joining David Robinson, Dwight Howard, Artis Gilmore, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm missing
Hakeem?
Hakeem and one other. But I mean, he is the 6th. I'm sorry. Hakeem did it 5. So when you're joining pretty illustrious company.
For sure.
And I think that's actually a good way to springboard into the Blazers in their performance tonight.
Absolutely.
Because the thing, and this isn't to take or to like make the Blazers look better. It's just kind of like what defined the night. Mm-hmm. When you block 10 shots, you were denying 10 opportunities. That you have a 0% chance of those shots going in.
Yeah, like we were talking about just before the show started. All right, if a player has 10 blocks, then that means that you have, like you said, a 0% chance. Let's say the Blazers make 5 of those shots. We're being charitable. They shot
they
just
had
below
13 blocks, so give them 5 of 13.
Okay, so they shot below 40% for the game. Portland did. If you make 5 more of those, you're at 45%. And also, the other statistic to look at is the deficit of free throws the Blazers had in this game, and so much of that is because Wemby's clogging up the paint. So you're not going to be looking to score. I mean, and had
you call them hell nos. That's what they are.
You can say that on TV too.
You turn the corner and you see a 7'5" dude who covers ground, like the shot he blocked on Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
He took one step and blocked it. And that's the thing it's not that he's just blocking shots at the rim. He blocked a 3 like it was nothing.
Remember that shot he blocked on Ant? He blocked the shot on Ant, and then he got it back, and he eventually made it. But that right there initial was like...
It's like, how did he get there? And he's so special. But, like, to what your point, Joe, like, it's... If you get a few more of those opportunities to go in, that's what makes Vic special, is he takes those things off the table, and then the ones that you don't count, the ones that don't hit the box score, where you turn a corner and you can see Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, turn the corner and go, don't like that. Don't like that one bit, because that 7'5" freak is just waiting, and he's already got you once, twice, 3 times, and you're just sitting there going, and then you throw in Jeremy and Denny couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Bad shooting nights for everyone besides you.
I mean, I think Ant might have gotten blocked more than anybody. I think Wemby got him 3 or 4 times.
Good. That's what I'm saying.
And it's just, when you take away those opportunities, you don't get to the free throw line.
It adds up to a 20-point loss.
Yeah, I mean,
bad shooting, Wemby going nuts. You don't get to the free throw line. 20 was the margin, and bit of a rock fight. Certainly a rock fight early in the game.
Yeah.
And then you get that massive Spurs run to end the second quarter, and really all the air was kind of taken out of the sails at that point because you roll into the third quarter and it just sort of continued from there. The margin was never really closer than 15 once you got beyond a few minutes into the third quarter, and that was basically all she wrote, especially because Portland couldn't string together, let's say, two or three consecutive three-pointers to kind of give yourself a run because Chauncey was left the starters out there for a while because, all right, 8 minutes left.
It wasn't that big of a
game.
gap because they weren't playing that well offensively. Like the Spurs were not great offensively.
Right.
This is, I think, something that gets taken for granted. It's not just those block shots, but it's the misses on top of that. And it's like, oh, of course. But no, I'm talking about the idea of when you have to take the ball out of the hoop offensively. But if you're just going off of misses, defenses aren't getting back and getting set. And you're not attacking in the half court all the time. Now, they have Chris Paul who can manipulate and get you some good looks, but
he manipulates.
But that's like
he manipulates.
You look at it tonight. The Spurs, they had a good night. They were in the 70th percentile in points per possession, but they were in the 41st percentile in effective field goal percentage.
Yeah, I mean, they only shot 47% from the field. They were 27% from 3. It was the free throw disparity was a big part.
And
of it.
even then, they were in the 40th percentile in free throw rate. Like, they didn't do anything other than take good care of the ball and do a little bit better on the offensive glass that really was outside the norm that much. It wasn't this otherworldly performance. I didn't think the Blazers were bad defensively. I just thought they were really poor offensively, just shot making, and the Wembanyama factor. Like, I can't overstate just how impactful he is.
That was big. And make sure to use the hashtag RC Wrap Up to join the conversation just so we can see what you guys are talking about this game. I mean, the impact that we talk all the time about Rob when he's on the floor and when he's healthy, or Donovan is on the floor when he's healthy, but the impact of Victor Wembanyama on the San Antonio Spurs, you can say that's one of the reasons Pops continues to coach, and you can say that's one of the reasons that San Antonio even has national games. It has national broadcast games because of Victor, because of what he does on the court. And I was talking to Danny about this too, and just comparing the height of Victor to DA and how effortlessly he makes these shot looks. I was like, he's basically a more athletic and younger Kevin Durant.
And bigger.
6 inches.
And bigger.
Yeah.
And bigger.
He's legitimately 7'5", and the way he moves, and I hate using all the hyperbole because we get caught up in this stuff so often.
Getting hyperbolic over there.
But he is one of one.
Yeah.
There's nothing else like him ever. Like, we've had guys that have been taller. Like, Yao was 7'6", but he was a plotter. His calves were as big as most people's thighs.
The Minute and Sean Bradley, that was a much different thing.
They're just kind of, it's Taco Fall. It was, or George Mirasan.
Sure. It's a token.
Yeah, it's not, like, even Boban. Like,
yeah.
But the way Vic moves, like, it's disgusting. He can get from half court to the rim in 3 steps.
Well, it feels like an evolution of basketball. Like, not even NBA or college or like a certain level or international. It's like Victor Wembanyama is an evolution of the game of basketball. This is not something that we're used to seeing, and he's doing all of these things. I mean, again, like Danny said, 6th player in NBA history to insert thing here, first rookie to do this.
And Wilt's not on the list.
Yeah, if you're on lists that Wilt isn't, you know you're starting to do some pretty wild stuff. But we like to joke about the ceiling of Shaedon Sharpe and that we can't see it. With Victor, you literally can't see it. And I know we disagree about the amount of three-pointers he takes. Guy takes 9 3-point attempts a game. And I guess to fill folks in on that conversation that we were having last time we played San Antonio, the thought process from the San Antonio coaching staff, front office, and it seems like you agree with this philosophy, Danny, that let's start broadly. What are the things that are off the table for Victor Wembanyama? And what you're saying and what San Antonio's saying right now, because we're not a contender, nothing is off the table. Let him shoot 9 threes a game. Maybe if we do this for a couple of seasons, he turns out to be a 37-38% three-point shooter. Then what? Then what?
He's 4 of 8 from 3 tonight. And when he took those threes, did you think, oh, that's a bad shot?
Never.
No, because it's the thing, he's
Never.
7'5", And there's nothing like if you're a Portland Trailblazers fan and you've been a fan for 20 years and you remember LaMarcus Aldridge, I've made this kind of reference before. I remember LaMarcus Aldridge's post turnaround fadeaway was the most unblockable shot I've ever seen. At that point in time, was the most unblockable shot I'd ever seen. Rookie Anthony Davis gets a block on that shot, and it was like seeing God bleed. And there's nothing you can do when he raises up here. Think about that. If his top of his head is 7'5", when he releases that ball, it's nearly 10 feet in the air already.
Do you remember that part on Jeremy? You mentioned it too when he took one step, and I didn't watch it. I didn't get a chance to see, so our TVs run at different times. I turned around, and all I saw, Vic took maybe a half a step. I guess
he
one.
Closed like almost 10 feet with like one whole step and a half, and it was just like
one and
how
wild. And he blocked him. I'm like, Danny, you're right.
And again, this is not to like take away from or excuse the Blazers' performance tonight. But did you guys think that Portland played bad, or was it more just not ball going hoop? Because I didn't think they played poorly.
No, I never thought the shot profile, as you like to
there
say,
you go.
was poor. Just shots weren't going in. And you look at Denny, I think exemplifies that almost better than anybody, because Denny had been shooting so well from the field recently, probably for the last 2-3 weeks. And even he couldn't buy a bucket tonight. He was 2 of 12, 1 of 7 from 3, but I never felt like anybody was forcing it. Maybe a couple of times when Portland got down in that 25 range.
Trying to get the 5-pointer.
Trying to get the 5-pointer, which, with 6 minutes left in the game,
you're just throwing haymakers.
Go with God. Kind of figure it out. See if you can get hot, and maybe you catch lightning in a bottle. But no, I don't think Portland had bad shots tonight. Tyree, do you?
It was more so of here's the issue. When we're already a bad team, and I think in terms of where we were in the second half, like we had a shot to come back in this game. Like this wasn't a far out game that we couldn't win, but we got to a point where we had the only way that we were gonna block Victor was when we had 3 people on him. Blazers cannot guard Vic with 3 people because we're just not good enough on the perimeter to maintain at least a balanced enough offense and defense. So my takeaway was Vic's impact was too great in terms of the team trying to come back. And at that point, it was just like, I won't say they played a bad game, but the impact of Victor Wembanyama and the shots not falling all contributed to it looking like a Blazers team that wasn't really performing well. When if you look at the box score and you look at the statistics, it was decent, but you have to watch the game. This was one of the games that you had to watch and not look at the box score, because you're thinking, all right, they made more 3-pointers and less shots, but how exactly was the game affected to the point where Blazers weren't coming back? And I mean, I look up because I look up at everybody I interview, but you just look up and you can see the 7-foot-something Victor Wembanyama causing such destruction. So I don't think it was a bad game, but just where they are as a team in terms of Victor's impact on the court, it wasn't going to be a win.
My criticism tonight, I think, comes from a lack of aggression.
And
I think you have to give Victor Wembanyama his flowers, as it were, when you talk about that. Because I thought of this in the third quarter, both Ant and Shaedon, and I tweeted out and some people kind of got like snarky about it, but it was like the idea of like they were starting to figure out how to attack Wemby. He was still getting them, but he's such a different beast. And I've mentioned this before. The first time they played Wemby last year in his rookie year, Wemby had that highlight reel chase down block on Ant. Ant blows by him at half court, and Wemby takes quite literally 3 steps, closes the gap, and pins Ant's shot to the glass. And I talked to Ant about it afterwards, and I was like, what did you think? He's like, about him. He was like, he's just different. Like you pause and you hesitate and and you could say, well, they're professionals. They need to figure that out. Tell that to literally every other pro.
Yeah.
Because this is what happens. This is how this is what he does something insane like this in the box score every night. And I think it's just you're looking at a guy who might end up being the most impactful player in NBA history, and he's doing this in year 2. And it's like you want to knock the Blazers down a peg or two for having a performance like this, but also when we talk about how the state that the game is in, maybe start enjoying a guy that is quite literally one of one.
It's not going to change. He's going to be around for a very long time, especially with that 2-hour stretch that he does. He keeps his body healthy, going to bed at 9 p.m. He's in bed right now, or he should be.
Well, what do we always talk about? Americans versus INTLs.
Yep.
And Wemby is from France.
Yep.
And right or wrong, there is something to the fact that the three musketeers of American basketball are all
aging out,
pretty much done with their careers. I mean, they're still hanging on.
Although
but
Katie's got 41 right now.
I mean,
he's cooking right now.
Yes, he is cooking right now, but
he's also 30.
Can he do it in April, in May, in June? And that's really the question. So, I don't think it's fair to take Wemby down a peg or two or think about him differently because he is from another country. But it is part of, I won't say the issue the NBA has, but a part of the reality of the NBA where the best stars and the biggest players right now are not from America. And Wemby should be appointment viewing. And I don't see the Spurs on national TV a lot compared to the Lakers, compared to the Warriors. And if you want to promote young stars, ugh.
I'm sorry.
You're right. And also, ugh.
Yeah.
But I don't see Wemby on TV a lot. No. I don't. And that's crazy. He should be one of the focal points that the NBA builds around. And he just isn't. And I find that so fascinating because if you watch him play, and Blazer fans have seen him play 3 times now this season, he is him. He is Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, he has been this impactful against Portland in all 3 of these games.
Yep,
exactly.
And it's just we spent a lot of time talking about the Spurs, but there was one player that did actually look good tonight, and it's a couple games in a row in Shaedon.
Nice to see.
And it's the only thing that has changed in my mind for him is the thing that we talked about, the lack of aggression. He is getting downhill. He is not settling. He's not getting off the ball immediately. When he gets the ball, there's quite a few coaches that I've talked to as far as like how best to develop young players. And one of the things is like not only the decisions that you make, but your decision-making process and how quick it goes. And not just making the right read, but making a read like under a second. Either dribble, pass, shoot. Don't sit there, slow down, let things go, get into the Carmelo Anthony 18.
Pound the ball.
Yeah.
That's exactly who I thought about when you said reacting quickly and who does the opposite. As a great player, but
look,
not what we want for Shea.
No, like
that's not what we want for Shea.
Look, I have my beefs with Melo, but Melo, like
unrequited beefs. Let's be clear about that. These are one-sided beefs.
I don't understand the beef either.
We'll find time to get there someday.
Okay.
But guys like him and Dirk, they had some of the best mid-post footwork in NBA history. You've earned that. You can do that. Shaedon, that is not your game. You are not, and even Kobe. Like Kobe had mid-post footwork that was unbelievable. Shaedon, you are a second-side attacker who can be an absolute monster. What you've seen in the last couple games is leaning into that. And if you're looking for, again, if you're trying to find that one silver lining in this game tonight, Shaedon putting together a couple aggressive nights. I think that's, if we have to find something, that's the thing, right?
I agree. I have to agree. What do you guys think? Use the hashtag RC Wrap Up. Do you think Shea's game was the bright spot of the night, or was it finally seeing this great guy and his amazing hair and in his festive red jacket? It's the most festive thing we're gonna get from him this holiday season. Hey, there we go. Let's hear from our good people at Dick Hannah Subaru. Joe, the man in the holiday blazer. What's popping, locking, and dropping?
At Dick Hannah Subaru, they're all about making the car buying experience a pleasure. Not only does every used Subaru come with a lifetime powertrain warranty, but for a limited time, you also get 2 Mount Hood Fusion passes with your purchase or lease. Dick Hannah Subaru, they believe in nice. Visit today and see what makes them different. Oh, throw on your ugliest Christmas sweater because it's time for a deep dive into a shallow topic. That's right, it's Trend BA.
Trend BA time. My boy Danny is here saying he's getting it ready for us. Listen, I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this. This was wild.
Is this the tech?
Oh my gosh.
Let's go.
This was insane, okay? Pelicans Knicks game, all right? Towel guy was just trying to clean up a little bit, and they call a tech, and you see Jalen. What is Jalen Brunson doing? He's like, yeah, tech. And this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Have you guys ever seen a towel boy get a tech for doing his job? I don't like NBA refs right now.
Well,
this is wild.
This is one of those by-the-book rules. And this is very similar to Chris Paul. Chris Paul got a technical foul against another team because technically when you check in, you're supposed to have your jersey tucked in as the delay of game. And it was their second one. It ended up being a technical foul. And Chris Paul was just, hey, he can't do that. He can't do that.
Have an untucked jersey?
Yeah. Coming in, checking into the game. It means you're not ready. This was Jalen Brunson doing the exact same thing. And Jalen Brunson, if you were a under 6 foot guy, which they are.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. When you sign your contract, there's also like a little like side note of like you must be the most irritating person on the planet. That's how you get that money.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's Jose Alvarado, whether it's Chris Paul, whether it's Jalen Brunson. If you're a Littleman, you have to be the most irritating human being on the planet.
And you know what? I get it, but it really plays into the stereotype of what people think short people do. They have a grudge against the world because they're not 6'4", and they gotta act like it. It's unbelievable.
Hell no, we ain't got a. Oh, I can say that. Hell no, we ain't got a grudge against the world. Listen.
I have no issues with anybody.
No. Danny, don't do that.
5'8" is right, folks, okay?
Are we counting Jalen Brunson as short? Because
yes.
By NBA standards.
Yes. I'm short.
By NBA standards.
No, okay. I mean, he is an NBA Littleman. I mean, it is him, Jose Alvarado, Chris Paul.
Nate Robinson was
Peyton,
a Littleman.
Peyton Pritchard. Like, there's, and again, they're all pesky. TJ McConnell. Look, it goes across races, ladies and gentlemen.
Gym rats all.
Yeah, just irritating gym rats that because to get to the NBA you have to be that irritating.
Right.
Like you have other things that are like prohibitionary for you to do.
That's fair.
So you have to exploit and just push the boundaries.
They ain't Wemby.
No,
what about
exactly.
the
They ain't Wemby.
Wemby didn't care if your jersey's untucked.
So, getting back to the specific situation, there was a made basket. Jalen took it out quickly and really like clapped for everyone, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And you can't see there's actually another towel boy coming, I'll say from south. One was coming from north, and they were converging on this wet spot. Mm-hmm. And they were probably just doing their job.
Yes, they're doing the thing that's trying to prevent what happened to Anthony Simons the other night when he slipped and absolutely ate it.
But also, they're going the other way.
They're also not in the way.
They're going the other way.
Because Jalen doesn't have the ball yet.
It is
No.
I'm sorry. It is wild for a towel boy to get in between two players when the inbound is even if there's a
Remotely close.
25% chance that an inbound is going to happen. I think it's wild for the towel boy to do that. So I'm on the side of the Zebras. Great technical.
Shocking.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
it. And I'll say this through line. We can put a button on this with this. Towel boy, your opening quote was the water boy. If you remember, there's a part in the water boy where they have a little sports centery joke, and Dan Patrick says Michigan is now experimenting with their towel boy, and they show their towel boy
Getting murdered.
going over the middle, and a linebacker just taking him out. Guy our size. So there it is. It's all water boy, baby.
We aren't small people. All right? We aren't small people. Don't do that, Danny. We aren't.
I mean, it's okay. I'm 5'8". It's fine. It's fine.
And okay, do I have to lie about my height or tell him the truth?
Why would you lie?
Because I feel bad now. Yeah, I'm 5'6". All right, folks,
So
I'm
what?
5'6". Yes.
So what?
It sucks. All right. Every single person I interview, I look up.
Yeah, but I mean,
every time.
They're in the NBA, so.
It doesn't have to be NBA. Girls high school basketball, I'm looking up.
Yeah,
Jazzy
tall,
Davidson, one of the locals who is committed to USC, one of the best, and hopefully she can bring back on the WNBA team here in Portland when it's that time. I look up to her.
Is she the Cav?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go, Cavs.
He's a former Clackamas Cavalier.
Let's go, baby.
All right, whatever. Okay, let's get. Whatever.
We're killing it.
Oh, man, it's fun. It's fun. Holidays are fun. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the rest of this game tonight. Donovan Clingan.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
7 points tonight.
Yeah. You know what I want to talk about with the big men is Chauncey trying the experiment again of getting DC and Rob on the floor together.
Sure.
And seeing how that all works. I like, this is like when you watch a really bad movie, but the concept is so good, you're like, the execution just wasn't there. Because having DC, Rob, Denny, Ant, and Shea on the floor together seems like a really good idea. You get your two big men running around, causing havoc. Maybe they can grab an offensive rebound, or you dump it to them down low if they have the mismatch, because you have three creators on the perimeter. And let's see who has the best matchup and kind of go. And there was a couple of possessions where I liked the way that it looked. I don't know if we're going to get a big enough sample size to know if this is successful or not, but I do like seeing it, and I would like to see it when all three centers are healthy, as long as all three are on the roster.
It's going to be a situation where when those guys are healthy, you're just going to have it to get the necessary minutes. Rob's just going to get squeezed to the 4, which is going to squeeze Danny out of some minutes. It's going to squeeze 2 out of some minutes. It's going to squeeze Jeremy out of some. It's just that's just the way it is when you have 3 centers. And this is why I said from the beginning of the season, don't be surprised if you see Donovan Clingan's minutes down. He played 13 minutes tonight. I said beginning of the year, he's going to play between 13 and 16 minutes a night. And most nights he's not going to play more than 15 because he's not conditioned to play that many minutes in the NBA. Right? Like, I was looking at it the other day. I think he's played 5 games where he's played more than 16 minutes this season.
And would be shocked if they had all 3 setters available. In any of those
one of them
situations.
was the 17, 12, 8, like his monster game. And if you remember that game, he didn't play offense for basically the final 6 minutes of the game. He was like, "You guys go ahead and get down there, and if I need to come down, I'll trail and get back."
Yeah.
Like but he was saving it all, which was really interesting. You don't see many players save it for the defensive end. They usually try to buy a rest on that end, but he knows kind of what he does. But I thought tonight you saw the young man in him kind of exposed, right? And I think, he picked up some fouls, got a little reach. I think he's still kind of getting his conditioning back from missing a couple weeks. And also the idea of covering Vic. Like, that's covering Vic, covering Chet, Evan Mobley, like those incredibly mobile 7-footers that just do everything. DC's just not that kind of a mover. And you get him away from the rim, it's a difficult proposition. And then you're asking Rob to kind of play out of position. As much as he's like a big power forward, when he was in Boston, he played the paint, and Al Horford was the guy that kind of played the 4. It was kind of because even Al at his age moves very well and moves his feet really well and can guard on the perimeter.
It could shoot threes.
And that's the other thing. Offensively, he definitely spaced out. DC hit another 3 tonight, which is nice to see. It might be a real thing, but it's not a square peg round hole. It's kind of like the circle peg in the octagon hole. Like, you can
kind of shove it through, but
it's just not going to be pretty. Just because like you're asking Rob to be in a kind of a weird spot, you're asking Denny to kind of be in a weird spot, but until moves are made, this is the way that you can get those guys out on the floor. And look, the Spurs are probably a perfect example of this. They spent most of last year with Jeremy Smith. Let's see if we just force feed him enough reps. Maybe it's a thing. And maybe Rob gets comfortable enough to where it becomes a thing that you can not necessarily have it like be by default, but if you did want to go jumbo, it could be a thing if that's the road that you opt to go down.
Do you like it, Tyree?
I'll say this. I think the idea, it's like the Rock in every action movie. The idea is nice. It's great. I mean, you got the body of work. You got the skill.
Button up the khaki shirt and call it good.
And make sure it looks tight every single time, like Joe and his Blazers. But like, the issue is also going to be spacing and conditioning. Rob and Donovan played basically the same amount of minutes tonight, 12 minutes, and Rob had no points on the board, and Donovan had 7. It's more so they're getting back into it and just the chemistry of the team. They aren't healthy enough, long enough to build that type of chemistry with the bigs. So what Chauncey is trying to do, at least it'll look better than it did tonight. It would look better if they did tonight, but they're not always healthy enough.
Did you guys catch what Chauncey said in the postgame about one of the things that they hammered during the kind of the off period for the last 2 weeks? The pick and roll relationship. And you were seeing that, I think, particularly with the bigs. DeAndre Ayton had, I don't say 3 lob finishes tonight, and one of them on a reverse catch that was just unbelievable. But you're seeing,
so smooth.
You're seeing. I want to give DA credit. He's still not a great screener. He's nowhere near that, but he's better than he was. And it is
last season or
ever.
this year?
Oh, I mean, he did okay in Phoenix with Chris Paul, but Chris Paul is quite literally the best screen manipulator in the history of the NBA. Like, you give it a slight little bump, and Chris Paul is going to be like, all right, I can do something with this.
Point God.
I mean, the last time DA set like hard screens like regularly was his 1 year at Arizona. And that's because his head coach Sean Miller was a psychopath, and if you didn't do it, he would kill you. Like, that's just the nature of that beast.
That offense forced him to do it.
I mean, but that's what you can do with young guys in college. It's like
I was thinking of Sean Miller sweating through his
just
shirts.
everything. Yes.
Everything. Just poor guy.
But DA is rolling harder. Denny is rolling harder. Rob is rolling harder. Donovan was like, you're seeing the screen being more effective and the roll game being more impactful. How many more lobs have we seen over the last 4 or 5 games?
No
that we had?
question.
I mean, it's significant. Like, look, with the exception of Jeremy Grant's unbelievably egregious, awful pass to Shaedon Sharpe last game, where the thud it made off the backboard, the audible guffaw that I let out in press row was like, whoa, oh God. Whoa. Jeremy just laughing about it was pretty funny, but they're using it as a real part of their attack. And as much as in the NBA we talk about all the threes, that three-point gravity, having that rim running gravity is a real thing. And if they can get more of that, that does cause the defense to back off a little bit and gives you some room to operate. And I think that Chauncey kind of hitting on that was like, we know what we need to work on, but like there's some micro skills that they are getting better at. And I'm not trying to polish this turd. I'm just looking like, if you've listened to me talk about this for the last 2 years, it's this. I am not going to live and die with the wins and losses of a tanking franchise. I'm going to look at the developments that happen as they go. And in a game like this, that's what I'm watching. And if you go, hey, can you be a team that gets up and down the floor and attacks early and finds lobs? Like, Ant.
I was about to say, Ant has some great lobs.
Ant threw like 3 or 4 lobs tonight that were inch perfect. And you're like, hey, that wasn't there 2 years ago. Look at this. This is a nice little find. And you just start like kind of growing those things just a little bit. I think like, again, this game was not a good game, but like if you're looking for like things to pull, that's kind of where I end up.
That Chiron is hilarious.
Lob City 2.0?
This is good work back there, guys.
I like it.
It's good.
I do love it. It was more so of the I appreciate it, and I was liking the relationship building we were at least seeing. Scoot's able to maintain that relationship, maybe not contribute as much in the scoring part, but he's able to at least assist, and he's able to find guys with those lobs, and that's what we were seeing from Ant, which I think is just an improvement on his defensive side as well. His transitions tonight were interesting, but overall, I think Ant had a great game. Had a pretty good game.
I think Ant's floor game has started to progress as he's starting to get a relationship with Shaedon. That was kind of the line of questioning I had for Chauncey following the game against the Nuggets and I hadn't really considered that at that point when I asked him. Ant and Shaedon really haven't played together consistently for any period of time.
Sure.
They just haven't.
Yeah.
Like when Shaedon's rookie year, Dame is here. In last year, when Shaedon's playing, Ant's out. Ant misses the first 19 games of the season last year. And he goes out in the basically in the third quarter against the Clippers, and then by the time he gets back, was it game 32? Shaedon goes down with a groin injury. He's done for the season. Like they just haven't really had much time on the floor together. And you could say, well, practice and those things. Like, no, man, you build those reps together on the floor. And even tonight, even though shots didn't fall, I thought that again for the second game in a row, they were playing well off of each other.
They were, and also. It's interesting because I thought early Ant was headed for another big night. He knocked down a couple threes early. He was involved in not only the offensive flow and kind of dictating things and getting to the basket, and even though he was probably blocked the most by Wemby, it's because he attacked the most of any Blazer, right? Wemby had the most chances to reject him at the basket. But you look at the defensive side, he had 5 steals today. Career high 5 steals, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. So even though the shooting percentage is not what you want, at all, 7 of 22, 3 of 11. I like that Ant stuck with it, and he didn't second guess himself, and there was a confidence to his game because it's important for Ant to maintain that level because for him and Shea to have that development, you can't have one of them dip below from a confidence or interest perspective because that's not how development occurs. So if they're on the same page in terms of their energy, their focus, what they're trying to accomplish, I think that's when you see the development occur between that specific duo. And look, it's going to be a long season. This is a 9-19 team. So that's one of the key relationships that I want to see continue to develop. We talk about, and of course this is to a lesser degree because the minutes aren't the same, but Scoot and DC, seeing the little pockets of development there where Scoot throws it up to DC, there seems to be a nice connection there in the pick and roll at times. But to see Ant and Shea start to have these types of games together is very, very encouraging and something to get excited about for Blazer fans as it's almost 2025.
I'll say this before we get to Dick Hanna Subaru. You can talk all the mess you want about Ant. You remember we talked a lot about how maybe he had a kind of idea that he needed to take over the game and win it for the squad. His development at least watching these last 3 games, he didn't have to do that, but he did it in the right spots. When they won against Denver, he knew he had to take over. Tonight, all right, he had great shots, but Shea was more of leading the charge. Ant's grown as a leader without speaking in certain ways, and I think we have to at least contribute that because no one's talking about it because he's not as much of a vocal guy, maybe as others, but
as
exactly. But his behind the scenes leadership, just maneuvering, kind of handling the game and letting others on his team take over, who's just having, frankly, a better game, just shows how much he's grown as a point guard.
I think he's done the things that Chauncey Billups has asked him to do, in that the whole make the right pass, the next play, just keep trusting teammates. I think he's done a much better job of that over like the last probably 10, 11 games. I was looking at his production over, I would say it was the last 12. He's averaging basically 25 and 5 on, was it 46, 37, 90 split. That's good production. Like there's the number of guys that average 25 and 5. It's a short list. And to your point about as far as like those guys kind of playing off each other in that relationship, one of the things that stood out is that both those guys have, for their defensive effort and intensity at times, if Ant's going to get beat, be disruptive. Be in passing lanes. Like his whole career, I've talked to him about this a million times. He's not a guy that typically generates steals. But if you go look at his game log this season, he's had multiple games where he's like, screw it, if I'm going to beat, might as well get beat, gamble.
Yeah,
like
risk reward.
Yeah, like
go for the pick.
Amp that up a little bit, and I think you're getting some return on investment. Even because if you're going to get beat, be disruptive.
Let's see what we got going on. Be leaving nice. All right, be nice, people. Like this guy. Joe, what you got for us, brother?
Friends, did you hear Dick Hanna Subaru is giving out Mount Hood Fusion passes? Have you guys heard about this yet?
I didn't. Tell me more.
You got to pay attention. I told you guys 26 times already. All right, you get 2 passes, plus every new Subaru comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty.
They believe in nice over there.
They
for real.
sure do. It's a perfect time to grab a Subaru and hit the slopes this winter.
Danny, you weren't here last time, but I was saying, not the show before, but prior, we're going to get some passes, and we're going. I think Dick Hanna, they got us.
Look, man,
they got us.
I got my hips rebuilt. We'll go.
We're going to get in the vehicle.
I don't want you to get hurt.
We're going to go skiing.
You don't get to decide.
Skiing or snowboarding. Snowboarding, skiing.
One better than 2.
Lodge. I think those are the 3 places that we need to be.
No, you need to be on the mountain. Okay,
we're going to be talking story by the fire, having some cocoa, little schnapps in there with some marshmallows.
Look, we'll take you can go to
Can't
Lodge.
hurt yourself in there.
You can go to Lodge after we take you to the top of the mountain. Once you make it down there, you can go in the Lodge.
One time.
I won't be peer pressured into going to the top of the mountain.
Well, hopefully NBA teams can be peer pressured by our Trinity.
Have you ever smelled the chloroform rag?
Please. Oh my gosh.
All right, Danny! All right, to the NBA. Let's go to NBA, and hopefully we can peer pressure some NBA owners on what we got going on.
Yes.
Joe, you brought this one, so go ahead and talk about it.
Oh, well, the Suns, they're trendsetters.
They are.
They were the first to do the over-the-air TV, and now your Portland Trailblazers, also over-the-air. Charge and Matt Ashiba. Boy, look at those prices.
That is
$2 hot dogs, waters, sodas, chips, popcorns. Family of 4 used to spend $98 on hot dogs and water. What? Is that right?
Hot dogs, water, and popcorn.
Popcorn. Okay, so it's reasonable now?
No.
$24 instead. Okay. I go on this rant probably once every 18 months or so. No one seems to remember this but me. Back in the day, I'm talking like when we transitioned from the Memorial Coliseum to the Rose Garden, like late 90s.
Yeah, 96.
They had a product. This is not a fever dream. They had a burger.
Is that a Mandela effect?
It is not. They had a hamburger. They had a hamburger called a Buck Burger. That was like the size of like a fast food burger. And they would just be wrapped up, and you could get them for a buck.
Ready to go.
Yes. You get 4 for like $4. No one seemed. If you remember this,
Joe, $1 back then
you,
was like $15 today.
I beg you, yes, inflation. I beg you to please use the hashtag RC Wrap Up if you remember the Buck Burger. So when I talk to my girlfriend in the morning about it, because she says this never existed, I can finally win an argument in my house. Please help me out. RC Wrap Up. Did Buck Burgers exist?
What year was this again?
Yeah, late 90s.
I was born in 97. I didn't get a chance.
You and the Buck Burger were born in the same year.
Me and Buck Burger.
Great things happened in 97. Men in Black was released. What a year.
Oh my gosh. Well,
unbelievable. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
What are we?
Thank you so much.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? The Lord's work. This is what we're doing now.
All right.
Why have a television show if you can't amplify something like the Buck Burger?
Was it okay? Was the Buck Burger
we've done
good?
less with more.
We have.
But was it good?
No, but it was $1.
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't good.
It was fine.
Look,
it tasted like a dollar burger.
It's a heat lamp burger, which is like, look,
right.
God.
Yeah.
So the Atlanta Falcons were the first ones to do this.
Yeah.
In the Mercedes-Benz Arena, right?
Sure.
And I think it's $1, if I remember right. I think it's $1. I think it's $1 hot dog, water, and something else.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but the thing about that is, and the math behind it is, the volume is so great.
Sure.
In that stadium that the rate of return exists.
It balances out. Yeah.
I don't know what that market price point is in the NBA. Like I don't know what those margins look like, what the numbers, because you talk about an average game for the Blazers right now. I want to say in attendance, I think they're like 16,000. And is everybody going to do it? And like, what does that look like? And again, I'm not trying to make excuses for them. I just don't understand. I don't know the economics of it in the NBA.
Sure.
I'll say this.
And HBO might just be taking it in the shorts, and it would be cool if owners everywhere did.
I would just like if you're buying if you're buying hot dogs wholesale, which is not something I thought I would say on the show.
Oh my God!
Like, and you're selling it for $2. I still think you're making a profit off of that individual hot dog.
You very much
probably.
You think it would cost the Phoenix Suns more than $2 per hot dog to get it in a huge, like 50-gallon drum that says hot dogs on it?
I don't. Well, I mean,
look, they may not be the best hot dogs in the world.
The
but
hot
again,
dog flavored
you're
water
getting
coming
a
back.
hot
I don't know,
dog.
man.
Yeah, you're getting one.
Part
of me wants one of the biggest complaints I hear from fans is like, again, and this is for a tanking team. Let's call it what it is.
All right, cool.
It's hard sometimes to get up and go to these games, and the Blazers try to do everything they can to make you care.
Yeah, you get the glasses, the 3 p.m. starts,
like all the things that you can do, and they have all the packages and the rewards for being season ticket members. Like they're active. Like they I don't think they take for granted. I mean, honestly, the network we're on right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like to be blunt, they probably won't let me say this. I don't care. They took it in the shorts financially.
Yeah,
like that's just. They did it because they want to give the product, like the best way, particularly in this economy, in this market, not even just in Portland, but in this space right now, is get as many people to watch your product as humanly possible.
Yeah.
That is like the Phoenix, like I'll use the Suns as an example. When they went to over the air, okay, they had, I want to say it was 150% growth. Think about that for a second. You're talking about arguably the 4th or 5th largest market in the country. And they had just been to an NBA Finals 2 years before. So the fact that it's not like this, like the burgeoning marketplace and like a on the rise team. No,
it's
they
not the
were
Hornets.
here,
Yeah.
and they grew 150%. So yeah, like it's a real thing, and getting into the market and doing all these things. And I think the Blazers are at least on the right path, going down this path with K2 in charge and the Rip City Television Network here in a couple of weeks, like all of the different things, redoing, putting the investment back into Moda and doing the updates, and then the plans and hopes to redo the Rose Quarter and the Albina Trust and trying to turn that into an entity and doing all of those things. It's great and all, but like, would I love to see a move like what the Suns and HB have done and what Arthur Blank and the Falcons have done? Yeah, I would. Like, period, full stop. Like, but again, I don't know what the marketplace kind of demands for
No,
that.
but he is forcing it. The Suns doing this forces the conversation to take place.
100%.
Right?
We're doing it now.
All other 29 teams are at least having the conversation. Let's go, Priestley.
Daniel!
Thank you so much.
You're making Joe feel really good right now.
That makes me feel really happy. Thanks, Daniel.
They
I
said
appreciate
in the
you.
YouTube chat too. They remember. They said, Joe, I remember
It's
the butt
real?
burger.
Okay.
It's real, and I know
there's
it's real.
something left going on here. There's some synapses are still firing off, so I'm happy about that. Everyone has to have the conversation because it is a narrative that it is not affordable, and not just the NBA, any professional sport. It's not affordable.
Falcons are the only one doing it in the NFL.
How much does it cost to go to an NFL game right now?
It's astronomical.
It's outrageous.
Astronomical.
My future son ain't been able to take his girlfriend to an NBA game. He can't do nothing like that.
Outrageous.
Can't do nothing like that. No. My problem here with it is, and I'll give my 2 cents. That's just crap, man. The point of the NBA is that you want the viewers, you want the young people to get used to what the NBA is now so we can have a product that's beneficial for the future and not just having us harbor on the same old, the Stephs, the LeBrons, and all of these things. You need the new version of NBA fans to get accustomed to what the NBA is now. Get them to games. Get them to watch games. Get them to watch games out of their market. Exactly. But young people aren't
go full on big tobacco.
Maybe not. Maybe Steve Ballmer is taking an interesting tact in Los Angeles with that new arena. They're trying to make it a fully immersive interactive experience, trying to get ahead of technology, which is, of course, impossible to do. But he's trying.
Yes.
And I think so many, I'm going to sound a million years old, and I'm not yelling at a cloud here. I'm just saying how the NBA and other sports are consumed. A lot of them are just consumed on highlights, looking at it online. The appeal of like spending 4 hours of getting to the arena, sitting in seat, focusing on a thing, going back in the car, and driving home, I don't know how much that appeals to kids.
Well, the problem is that I don't
They
think
broke.
Well, not just that. I think it's a big part of it, but also
They broke.
they aren't growing up doing it. Like I grew up in a full stop. Like my parents had season tickets. Like that was we didn't have a ton of money, but that was the thing that we did.
That was the luxury.
That was the luxury. Hell, my dad bought season tickets under the guise of the company.
Right.
Gave a bunch away, and then some slid down to us.
Whoops.
Oopsies.
I guess we're going.
I guess we're going to these games. Like, that was what we did. But I grew up doing that.
Right.
That was like I remember my formative years of like the playoffs against the Jazz and watching Brian Grant come out with a busted up eyebrow with stitches in that arena being so loud, you had to cup your mouth and yell to the person next to you. Like,
and that developed your love.
Exactly. I don't think that we're able to form those bonds. And I think to your point, like the prices are prohibitive. I'm just looking up right now. In 2023, the average NFL ticket price is $120. Again, 17 games. So it's shortage, but there's 82 games in an NBA season. Like there's just, and everybody talks about, rising costs of inflation and costs and all up, security and trying to keep up with technology and player salaries and all. Like I'm like, yeah, but you also have some offset with a $9 billion TV deal. Like
yes,
I think there's ways that we can improve a lot of this stuff. But I think the reason why so much ownership is hesitant to do so is because of an ever evolving landscape.
And that's true. But I think that the thing that baseball, which made some changes, which have improved it, but it's never going to get back to where it was.
It won't ever be America's pastime.
It will not. Football and fantasy, but the biggest component is scarcity because there are only 17 regular season NFL games, because there are so few college football games and the season is so short, it makes it that much more special.
Appointment viewing.
And I know that no league is ever going to reduce the number of regular season games. They will add. But I just wish someone would come to the table and make a compelling argument for scarcity making things more valuable.
Going to 66
and
games.
if you had 66 games and you start at Christmas and you have that be the kickoff and you have a mad dash to the playoffs, like look at some of the teams that are in a bad way right now that you think of as potential playoff teams. Like
I like what you're saying. Keep going. I don't know.
They would have to get their stuff together much more quickly. You don't have another 4 months to figure it out for the playoffs. You have, let's say, 2 months, and you got to make more drastic moves.
You can't slow roll the
trying,
first 2 months.
Exactly. You're trying to win now. Load management goes away because not goes away, but you'd be able to curb it because you wouldn't have as many games, and LeBron wouldn't have to sit out as many games. Steph wouldn't have to sit out games. KD wouldn't have to sit out. Joel maybe could play a regular season game. Like, you have these situations that you've created because you're at once wanting to have 82 games that you're telling the public are very, very meaningful while simultaneously creating an in-season tournament to say, hey, these matter more. And then you have 4 more months. It's like there's a contradiction in there somewhere.
Did you and Danny come up with that? That's a great plan. I'm gonna be honest. That's a great take, both of y'all. That's awesome.
I mean, the shrinking the regular season is not an original idea. It's been
the way you made it
there
put out.
Before.
It sounds great though.
I just think that scarcity wins overall.
It
making
does,
things special.
But what got the NBA and Major League Baseball the rights deals that they get is that in their periods, like the seasons that they exist in, it is volume. That is their selling point. Their inventory volume is what makes this work.
Sure.
And because they have 82 games, when NFL stops February 8th, from then until June, you have volume. You have volume. And then when you need the appointment viewing in June and into July, you have playoff games that matter. And by the time that gets over, that one dead period, August, what happens in September and October? NFL starts back up, and Major League Baseball playoffs are right there. The only dead month in the calendar is August. And sorry, WNBA fans, I'm not throwing you guys out. You just don't have the volume yet.
Yeah,
like, it's just
it's growing.
Yeah, you're growing, but you don't have the games yet to fill that inventory. And and that's why the WNBA will grow. That's why they're adding franchises.
They're adding franchises. The finals are going to be 7 games. They're growing because the demand
for that volume
is there for it. But the thing about the WNBA that makes it special, and I will say, the playoff series need to be longer.
Yes.
It was a tragedy that we didn't get 7 games in the finals this year.
Oh, I blinked and it was over.
An incredible finals. But because there's only 40 regular season games, they matter so much. And yes, expansion makes sense in terms of franchises.
They have a
in terms
chance
of
to
games.
do something and stop.
Yeah.
Get to go 54 or 66 and just stop.
Yep.
They won't, because there's always going to be more money and more games. But they have the ability, because they're still young and they're still growing, to stop.
And they have the advantage of buttressing the end of the NBA season with the start of football season. Like, they have this incredible sweet spot. And you're right, it's not to the level of baseball playoffs and certainly not NFL and college football. But as a league on the rise, they are uniquely positioned because of where their season falls on the calendar.
And it really helps that the growing and rising of women's sports just being watched.
Yeah, I mean, tonight during the Blazers game, you had UConn USC. You had a game that came down to the last shot where 2 of the biggest stars in college, and Paige Beckers and Juju Watkins, put on a show.
And it was fun.
But again, that's it because of when college basketball goes on. Unless you were a college basketball fanatic, look,
you missed it.
I'll tell you right now, that game, UConn USC probably ended up with higher,
well, sure,
because you had 2 transcendent young stars that are coming up, and it's being pushed by ESPN and everything that goes along with that, and that's good for that game. But again, that's like kind of, it gets lost because what else was going on tonight? The college football playoff, where everyone's eyes are on, and again, like that's where that back and forth argument, and again, you're never ever 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 going to beat the NFL. And if the argument is we're competing with the NFL, then just pack it up and shut your league down.
It's counter programming.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's the Puppy Bowl when the Super Bowl is on. You put it on at the same time because for people who don't care about football, you have a fun thing to put on in the background while they're reading Chaucer or whatever they're doing when the Super Bowl is on.
But and honestly, that's the same thing. The same way I kind of look at and justify $2 hot dogs. It is the thing. It is not the thing that matters, but it is the thing that is the distraction.
That's
or
right.
the guys that like pulls you in the door.
Like, 2-minute hot dogs?
Like I was talking to somebody.
Let's go slam 4 dogs and watch the Suns.
No, I'm telling you, it's an appeal factor.
Yeah.
And it hopefully they watch this show, clip the part where you guys were talking about how to help make this league better, and then they use that.
Direct to Commissioner Silver.
Oh yeah.
National Basketball Association.
And then bring some more funds over here to the Portland area.
Sure.
So we can keep doing big things.
Let's go.
All right. We got a big thing coming on Monday. Dallas.
Oh.
Yes. Portland Blazers looking ahead to Dallas on Monday, a 5:30 p.m. tip off in Dallas against the Mavericks. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving looking to get a little bit of. Oh, wait a minute. Tickets low as $34. Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Remember, that's Texas too. It's a good price.
Texas two-step.
So you did say Luka Doncic. That probably isn't going to happen.
Is he not going to play?
He's probably not going to.
Because he didn't play.
Really?
He did not play tonight.
The heel.
Yes, he's been dealing with that. And when it did happen, I talked to some reporters in Dallas. Was like, "Hey, Portland's coming through." They're like, "Probably not." Now, again, he may decide to go, but also this is a team in Dallas that came up here and dropped 137 without Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
They have firepower.
You think you can survive without Luka if you're taking on a 9-19 Blazers team?
I mean, that's the hope for Dallas.
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully.
I want to see Luka.
Does Bannon play?
That's my thing.
Yeah, if you're playing the Spurs, you want to see Wemby. If you're playing the Mavs, you want to see Luka.
Please,
you want to see. You want to see these guys. So I hope Luka plays because the performance he put on last game was otherworldly.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But for Portland, it's another opportunity to go up against a transcendent superstar, and if he plays, and see how they handle it.
Hey, let's do a thing while we got a couple minutes left. Let's do our finals picks. We haven't done finals picks at all.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'll go first. Milwaukee and Dallas.
Milwaukee?
How about it?
Really?
I think they make a trade. I think both those teams make a trade. Milwaukee and Dallas.
They're hunting.
Yep.
I
think they make a move.
So they have their 2031 first round pick, which could be pretty juicy. Giannis will be 34.
Did you say 2031?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. That's only 6 years away.
Are we going to be around then?
Hey, relax.
6 years. That's 6 years. That's so far away.
That's not that far.
It's really not that far.
Wait, let's do it this way. How old are you going to be in 6 years? You don't have to say it out loud. Just think about it in your head and tell me if that's weird.
You're mean.
That's weird, right?
You're mean.
It feels weird.
I'm going to say
I'm going to be 46 in 6 years.
Ooh, that's crazy. I'm gonna be 33.
That's a great age. That's the prime of your life, Tyree.
Is it?
Yes.
Is that Portland dads? Give me advice.
The two guys that are going to be well over 45 are going, yeah.
Give me some advice.
Savor every moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my original pick at the beginning of the season, believe it or not, was Milwaukee Dallas.
Really?
Yes. On the radio.
Do you feel good about that still?
Dusty and I made those as our picks, and I fought against the Boston thing. It's so hard to do it twice, and Boston is still the best team in the league. But
right now,
yes. You know me, and I've said this for years. When you've got the guy that I think is the best player on the planet, and I think Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player on the planet right now. Is he the best offensive player? No. Is he the best defensive player? No. But he's maybe the third best offensive and the second best defensive.
And he's a man possessed.
He is. And if they've got Chris Middleton's contract to work with, they've got Bobby Portis' contract to work with. If they're willing to sort some things out, and they can get one more guy. Dame and Giannis seem to have figured some things out, and they are humming, and I think that's the team.
3-pointers are falling too.
If they can sort out their defense and get some playmaking, and then Dallas, all the analytics indicate that they're basically a sleeping giant, and I just don't trust OKC's lack of size.
We need Tyrese.
I was going to say OKC.
Okay.
I was going to say
OKC out of the West, out of the East.
OKC against Boston.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not a bad pick.
No,
it's
I mean
genuinely not.
Yeah.
You were more likely
that's
to be
probably
right
the
than
one
we
to
are.
win. Yeah, exactly.
I say that. I only say that because of how Boston is kind of moving right now. They're still moving with a confidence, still shooting, averaging 51.1 threes a game. Yeah. They're on top of that part. And then in terms of OKC, a young team that was close last season. Now just adding parts, and I think I think they're going to surprise people with a good trade, a crazy trade that's just going to be like, and it's going to be like, all right, now they got the piece to go.
And that's a team that's able to do something, too, with the trade in terms of the middle of the season. Chet's health coming back, I think, will be interesting to watch with them, too.
Which we're getting close to that. He's due for a checkup at the beginning of January.
Be interesting to see how quickly he comes back and how effective he is and how quickly.
If this was this team with Chris Paul in 2020, I'm pretty sure that this team's in the finals. Yeah. I'm pretty sure of that. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Rip City Wrap-Up. It's actually episode 28. My brain was all off. We appreciate you joining us, sponsored by good people at Dick Hanna Subaru. We hope you guys are having a happy holidays. We will see you guys on Monday when the team takes on Dallas Mavericks. Good night, folks.